We continue now at the top of Daf Ayin Aleph on Beis Mesechet Yevamos. This is Yevamos Daf 71b. The Gemara is continuing to find a case where you have a situation where a person has a child who's not ready to have a bris milah at the time of the shechting Korban Pesach, but he is available to have a bris milah at the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach, and therefore, if you don't give the bris milah at that time, person won't be able to eat Korban Pesach. The case can be me'es la'es, because what happens is the child gets sick, and the halach is you have to wait 7 days, but it has to be full, exact 24-hour increments. And so therefore you can have a case where it's that 24 hours ends after the time of the shechting of the Korban Pesach, but before the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach. Rashi over here says, in other words, this is 8 days later, and it happened, the fever happened, or the fever broke, the fever went away, it was after Chatzos already, so then what's going to happen is he's going to be fit for the bris milah only after Chatzos, after the Korban Pesach has already been shechted. But the Gemara says, is that really true? V'atani luda, but didn't luda teach? Luda is the name of a chacham. Yom havra'aso ki yom hivaldo, that the day that he gets healthy is the same as the day as if he were born. Rashi over here says, Yom havra'aso ki yom hivaldo, meaning tzarach lamtin shmona yavim. Just like when a child is born, you wait 8 days for the bris milah, so too you wait 8 days for the bris milah from the time that the child healed, meaning they're identical. My lav is it not? My yom hivaldo lo ba'inan me'es leis. Just like when it comes to a child that's born, you don't wait to the 8th day 24-hour periods. We just say on the 8th day, at the beginning of the 8th day, the child can have bris milah. So af yom havra'aso, so isn't that true also? By yom havra'aso, when the child gets better, lo ba'inan me'es leis, you don't need to wait for the 8th day in 24-hour periods, you just wait for the 8th day. But the Gemara says that's not what's meant by Luda's teaching. Lo, no, Adiv Yom Havrasum Yom Hivaldo. Actually, the day that the child becomes healthy, let's say from a fever, is actually better than the day that the child is born. Meaning to say, Di'ilu Yom Hivaldo Lo Ba'inan Me'es Leis. When it comes to the day the child is born, you don't need to wait in full 24-hour days. V'ilu Yom Havraso Ba'inan Me'es Leis. But when it comes to the day that the child becomes healthy, you actually need to wait till the 8th day, but you need to wait full 24-hour days. And so again, that's how you can have a case where the child is ready for bris milah only at the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach, but not at the time of the shechting of the Korban Pesach. And the Gemara continues with some other answers to explain this possibility. Rav Papa says, could go into chayv le'einei li'anuka. Let's say you can have a case where the child's eye is hurting, v'itzbach beini uveini, and then it gets better again between the time of the shechting and the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach. Now, if there's no fever, if it's just something like an eye hurting or something like that, then once that pain goes away, so then you can do the bris milah immediately. So that would be a case again. If it goes away between the asiyah and the achila, that would be such a case. And the Gemara continues with another case. Rava Amar Rava says, "Kagon shayu aviv v'imo chavushin b'veisu asurin." Let's say his father and his mother, they're in prison. Rashi over here says, "Chavushin b'shas asiyah." At the time of the shechting of the Korban Pesach, they're in prison. Umitzvas milah mutalas aleim. Now it happens to be the mitzvah of milah is specifically on the parents. V'lo al acherim, there is no mitzvah on anybody else. V'heim einon yecholim lasos es pischa. Now they can't do the Korban Pesach at that time when they're in prison. V'shachat shluchan aleim, and so therefore they send a shliach to do the shchita. V'ashmin and kra, and that's what the pasuk is teaching us. Shem yotzu b'shas achila, that if they come out of prison at the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach, milas beno ma'akavto. He has to give a bris milah to his son at that time. That is going to be ma'akev. And the Gemara continues with another case. Rav Kahana Breder Rav Nechemya Amar. Rav Kahana, the son of Rav Nechemya, says, Kagon tumtum. The case can be a tumtum. A tumtum is an individual where the aver is covered up and we don't know whether it's a male or a female. So shenikra, and then it became torn. V'nimtza zachar beini uveini. We found out that this child was a male between the time of the shechita and the time of the eating of the Korban Pesach. And the Gemara continues with another answer. Rav Sharvia Amar. Rav Sharvia says, "Kigon shahotzi rosho chutz lepruzder." The case is that the baby stuck out his head outside of the womb. Rashi over here says, "Kigon shahotzi vlad rosho chutz lepruzder uchvar avru shiva yam." In other words, it stuck out its head, and now 7 days have gone by. Umeahi shaita havale vlad. Now, from the time that the head comes out, it's already considered a born baby. The kaimelam Mesechet nida yotzo rosho hareyu kiyulud. It says in Mesechet nida when it sticks its head out of the womb, so it's already considered born. Now the baby only fully comes out between the shechting and the eating of the Korban Pesach to have a leizman milah. Now it's already the time of the milah. You couldn't give the bris milah earlier because the body of the baby was still in the womb. The baby finally comes out between asiyah and achila, and that's how you can have such a case. And the Gemara continues, but can such a child survive? But we learned in a brisa, once the child comes out into the world, niftach hasasim, that which was closed closed becomes open. V'nistam hapasuach, and that which was open becomes closed. Shel molekain, because if not for that, in yachol lichios afilu sha'achas, the child would not even survive for one moment. Rashi over here says, V'atanya b'hamapelus b'Mesechet nida. We learned in a brayso in Mesechet nida, piv sasum v'tibura pasuach. When the child is in the womb, his mouth is closed, and the umbilical cord, that's what's open, that's what's providing sustenance. V'kevan sheyatza laver olam, and when the child is born, niftach hasasum, that which was closed becomes open, meaning piv, meaning his mouth now becomes open. V'nistam hapasuach tipuro, and then what happens is that which was open, the umbilical cord, that closes up. And if not for that, in yachol lichios, if not for that, a child can't survive. Mishum delo yana, because he won't be able to nurse in such a situation. In other words, in a standard situation when a child is born, so he stops getting the sustenance through the umbilical cord, and instead he gets the sustenance through his mouth. And now you're talking about a case where the child stuck its head out, but then wasn't really born. How's he going to survive in such a situation? And so the Gemara answers, and here what are we talking about? Kagon dezonse ishta. There was a fever that allowed the child to survive. Rashi over here says, dezonse ishta hacholi zones hachola. The sickness is actually able to sustain the sick child. So that's a situation where the child can survive even if he just stuck his head out into the world, but only later came fully out, only later came out on Erev Pesach. But the Gemara still wants to clarify, Ishta Deman, who's the one that has the fever over here? Ilema Ishta Didei, if you're going to say that the child has the fever, so Ihachi calls Shiva Boy. But if that's the case, we go back to the original thing we said in the Gemara, you need to wait 7 days anyway to do the bris milah. So that case is not going to work. So Ella Dezin say Ishta Deime, rather what we can say is that the mother had a fever and that actually allows the child to survive, even though the child stuck its head out but didn't come out for another 7 days, but he's able to survive due to the fever of his mother. Rashi over here says, you're going to say that the child had a fever when he came out, he was fever free, but kol shiva boyam tune, then you're going to need to wait 7 days misha yotza. From the time he comes out, you're going to have to wait another 7 days. You said that the day he gets healthy is like the day he was born, and so again the Gemara says he was sustained by the fever of his mother. The Gemara says, same if you want, I could say another answer. Hani mili ma'avi. That's only true if the child doesn't cry. But if the child cries when he comes out, he's able to survive. Rashi over here says, the word avi means that he's crying out, so in such a situation, such a child actually can survive. And we'll just mention over here the Chachmas Shlomo explanation of the Gemara. He says that the explanation is that the crying of the child heats up the child similar to a fever and allows him to be sustained, allows him to survive, but it's not actually a fever, so you don't have to wait the 7 days after the child comes out. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Benah. Rabbi Yochanan says in the name of Rabbi Benah, Oril Mekabel Hazah. When it comes to an Oril, someone who's uncircumcised, they can still be sprinkled by the Mechatos. That's talking about the Mechatos from the Parah Aduma. Let's say a person is Tamei Meis, that's how he purifies himself. Even though he has no circumcision, he's allowed to be sprinkled and allowed to be purified in this fashion. How do we know that? Shekein Matzinu Bavoseinu, we find that by our forefathers. Shekiblu Hazah, Keshein Arelim, that they actually did Hazah, they were sprinkled with the Mechatos when they were still uncircumcised. Shenemar, like the Pasuk says, the Pasuk in Sefer Yoshua, V'ham olu min hayarden be'esor lachodesh harishon. It says that on the 10th of the month of Nisan, or the first month, they came up from the Yarden. Bo'asara lo mehili. So on the 10th, they didn't get a bris milah yet, mishum chol shadorcha, because they were still weak from their travels. Now hazah imas avidlu. When did they have the hazah? When did they purify themselves? Lav kishein arelim. Wasn't it while they were still arelim? And you see that the hazah is effective for an oril. And the Gemara says, "V'dilma lo avad Pesach klal." Maybe that year they didn't bring korban Pesach at all. The Gemara says, "Lo sal kadaitach." No, you can't say that. Because the pasuk says, "Vayasu es Pesach." It says they did the korban Pesach. But the Gemara continues, "Maskefla Marzutra." Marzutra asks, "V'dilma Pesach haba b'tumah." Maybe it was a situation of a korban Pesach that was brought in tumah. If everyone is tumah, you're allowed to bring the korban Pesach b'tumah. And the Gemara says, "No." Amarle Ravashi. Ravashi said, "Tim Tanya behedya." We learned explicitly in a brayso, "Malu v'tavlu v'yasu pischein b'tara." They actually had bris milah, they immersed, and they brought the korban Pesach b'tahara. And Rashi over here explains, Orel Yisrael shenitma b'meis. You have an Orel who's also Tamei Meis, mekabel hazah litar mitumaso. He can actually get hazah, he can get sprinkled in order to purify himself from his tumah. And when he gets to the bris milah, he doesn't need to be sprinkled again. V'yochel b'kachim, and he can eat kachim. V'lo amrin on hazah asarelus lo shma hazah. We don't say that the hazah of an Orel is not a good hazah. Shekein matzino b'avosenu b'mei Yehoshua b'Pesach. We find that at times sons of Yoshua, Pesach Gilgal, by the Korban Pesach and Gilgal. Shekiblu hazah mitumas meis k'shein arelim. That's exactly what happened. They got hazah while they were arelim. Bo'asar lo molos and shayu b'midbar shayu arelim. Those who were still arelim in the midbar, they didn't get bris milah on the 10th. So hazah emas avid l'tumas meis shalein sharov tzibor tamei meis hayu. Most of the tzibor was tamei meis. When did they do the hazah? Shenitmu b'avosein shekol yotzim mitzrayim meis b'midbar. We know they became tummy with their fathers because all of those who left Mitzrayim died in the midbar. V'eluhein b'neim, and these are their children. They obviously became tummy when dealing with those dead bodies. Kedechsiv es b'neim hekim tachtam osam mol Yehoshua. V'hech nitaru. Now, so how did they get tar? Lechol peschein, in order to eat the Korban Pesach. Im lo kiblu hazah shlishi u'shvi. They have to be sprinkled on the 3rd day and the 7th day. Kishein arelim. It must have been while they were arelim. O kalechad v'yechad kibel hazah l'shlishi u'shvi shalo ba'odo ba'midbar. O achshav hizo alein kulan yachad be'esr lachodesh. They either had that hazah on the 3rd and 7th day of while they were in the midbar, or they did it right now and it would have been on the 10th. Uverev haPesach vayulen dalid yomim. And so then they would have their 4 days if they're sprinkled on the 10th and on Erev Pesach. Kimishva ben hazah lazah, because you have to wait 4 days, because again you get sprinkled on the 3rd and on the 7th day. Dim lo hayumazan ad yom achar asar la'achar mila nimtzas hazah shniya mechuzeres man. If they waited to get sprinkled on the 11th day after they had a bris milah, so then it would come out that the second sprinkling is going to be too late. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rava bar Yitzchak Amar Rav. Rava bar Yitzchak says in the name of Rav, Lo nitna priyas mila li Avram Avinu. When it comes to bris milah, there's also a mitzvah to pull back the membrane. That part of the mitzvah was not given to Avram Avinu. Shenemar, because the pasuk says, Ba'is hayomar Hashem el Yoshua aseh lecha charvos tzurim. And the pasuk here is talking about where Hashem tells Yoshua to prepare the knives for the bris milah. And the Gemara is now assuming why are they doing bris milah? Because maybe they had the bris milah the way it was given to Avram Avinu, and the membrane wasn't pulled back, and so therefore they need to do bris milah. They need to do it in the complete fashion. They need to do the priyas milah as well. But the Gemara says, how do you know that's what the pasuk means? V'dil mahanach delo mol. Maybe we're talking about circumcising those who had no bris milah at all. T'chsiv, because the pasuk says, Kimulim hayu kolam hayotzim v'cholam hayilodim v'gomer. The pasuk says that those who left Mitzrayim they had bris milah, but those who were born in the wilderness did not yet have bris milah. So again, maybe this pasuk is just talking about preparing the knives for the bris milah for those who had no bris milah at all. So the Gemara says, no, imkain my shuv, but if so, what is the pasuk? It says shuv, as if you're doing it again. Rashi over here says, imkain my shuv demashma zimna acharisi, elolav shma mino lepri. It sounds like they're getting a second bris milah. Why are they getting a second bris milah? Elolav, the Gemara says, rather, does it not mean to say lepriya? It means to say that it's for the priya, for the peeling back of the membrane. And the Gemara continues, umay shenis, but if that's the case, what does the word shenis mean? Rashi over here says, umay shenis, hashta de dorasht shuv, shenis my tidr. If you're already darshaning the word shuv, then it means a second time for the priya, so why does it say the word shenis as well? And to that the Gemara says, La kushe sof mila l'tchilas mila. That's to make the following drasha to compare the end of the mila to the beginning, meaning to say, matchilas mila ma'keves, af sof mila ma'akvenbo. Just like the beginning of the process of the bris milah is ma'akev, so to the end, that's referring to the little pieces of skin that you're tearing away at the end, which are called the tzitzin. Those are also ma'akev. As the Gemara continues, the Tanan, as we learned in a Mishnah, Eluhein tzitzin ha-ma'akvin esamila. The following tzitzin, the following pieces of skin are ma'akev in the bris milah. Basar hachofes rov ha'atara. Let's say you have flesh that covers over the majority of the atara of the crown. Ve'ein ochel b'truma. In such a situation, if that hasn't been taken off, that kohen, if he's a kohen, cannot eat truma. As Rashi over here says, sof milah tzitzin shenishtayru shelo chatach kol arla. If he didn't cut off all of the arla, if there are still tzitzin that remain, that's going to be a problem. And the Gemara continues, Amar Ravina v'itemer Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Rav. Ravina says, and some people say it's Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba says in the name of Rav, Basar hachofes rov gova shel atara. When it talks about the flesh that covers the majority of the atara of the crown, what it means to say is the majority of the height of the crown. Rashi over here says it's rov gova afagav dein rov hakefa. Even though it's not the majority of the circumference, if it's the majority of the height, that's what we're talking about. And the Gemara continues, Uva midbar my time alomol, in the midbar in the wilderness. Why is it that the people did not have a bris milah? If you want, I could say one answer. It's because there was weakness due to the travels. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Ayin Beis Amud Aleph.